This is the story. This is what everybody wants to hear. You got it. This is my time to shine. I don't have Tim running me over. I don't have Timmy running me over. All right. I have two great stories. One of the stories was the Plaza at the time had this arcade room, and they had this one, the Addams Family. I think it was the Addams Family. It might not have been the Addams Family, but they had this pinball machine. It was fantastic. I'd go over there and play that pinball machine. The other time, I literally had my name badge and my little bow tie and everything else. I had a friend of mine. I met a guy who became a friend of mine. He worked at the Horseshoe. So he brings me into the Horseshoe one day, and he takes me down to the break room where the dealers would go. And I'm literally in my Golden Gate name tag with my Golden Gate bow on, and he just they're all smoking weed in there, dude. And
oh yeah, back in the day.
Oh my God, there's a security. You can see this
no
security guard. No, you can see the security guard going by, and I'm getting all nervous, right? If I was nervous just about, he's like, no, it's okay. You're just visiting. It's okay. And I mean, dude, we would just get just high as a kite. No one cared. It's unbelievable. He's like, don't worry about that. They're not allowed to come in here. There's security. We're not allowed to come into that break room. Even more amazing, those Horseshoe dealers, as long as they weren't too hammered to deal, they were allowed to just there used to be this caboose bar or something like this that was either
Blues
on the
Caboose.
backside. Blues Caboose, was that it? And they would just go in there and just pound down shots on their break. Are you kidding me? Oh, Horseshoe, God, I always wanted to go on a Horseshoe. But anyways, those are the two memories I have at the gate. I still did not have a car. I had to literally bike my ass to Rancho and Craig until me and Lisa finally got our own apartment. And that was on Paradise. It was still quite the distance. Okay. So the gate goes by. I have the other ID at home, but then I get hired. I go down to the Gold Coast. I get auditioned by a guy named Steve Murphy. I met him years later again. He was at the Sahara. He was running the pits at the Sahara Casino, but he was a pit boss. I think I'm not sure where Barry was in the hierarchy at that point. We know a guy named Barry. He's still there, but Barry was either pit boss as well, but it was Steve that interviewed me. And they hired me again, but the thing is, I went from this bird game, 25-cent table on dice, to literally the Gold Coast 25-cent table on dice, because it took a minute before you got to. They would rotate you around a little bit, but you didn't always work the dollar. They had that $5 game. That was the high limit table there. You know what I mean? They had those 4 tables. They had a quarter, $2, and a $5, I believe. So I ended up working at the Gold Coast. That was my second job. I was there for almost a year and a half. Give or take. Me and Lisa weren't getting along so well, and she was taking all my tokes. She would only let me take the first 50 I would have to give to her, which is understandable because I had a gambling problem. So I literally, this is me, young person, new to gaming. I started drinking, gambling, this kind of thing. I had no way to get out because she'd take all my money, and I was just stuck like a pig, dude. Had no money to do crap. You falling asleep?
No.
Are you good? All right,
sure.
Good. He's like, sure. Okay. All right, so
so you're gambling, you're losing.
So I'm gambling. So here's the thing. So I hit the slot machine at the Gold Coast. Tokes went $54. I put $4 in, and I won $2,000. Oh man, I'm out. I used that $2,000 to relocate my ass to LA. Literally out of Vegas.
Town? Oh,
yeah, he left town. Called in. Yeah. I get my notice at Gold Coast. And now I'm out. I'm back in LA. I ended up working for a hotel there, this kind of thing. And then of course, I came back to Vegas. When I came back to Vegas, I went to work. The Santa Fe had been built by
wasn't Santa Fe Station.
Yeah, it was just Santa Fe.
To show them, yeah, still had the logo.
So yeah, it still had this thing on it, but it was literally just the Santa Fe. It was Sue Loudon, I believe, was the owner.
Yep.
And then any big slot would hit, and she'd come running in there. And
if you're not sure who Sue Loudon is, she was a pretty popular newscaster here in town.
Yeah.
Her husband owned the Sahara too.
Well, that was it, the Sahara.
Yeah.
Santa Fe. Oh, owned the Sahara too.
Yeah. Owned the Sahara. She was a popular newscaster. I actually went to high school with her son, Will. Will went to Las Vegas Academy.
Yeah. So this is where I worked there, and this is where the takedown happened. And I had the story about the takedown at the pit. That was there. So I worked there for a little bit, and then after the Santa Fe, I went to the Fitzgeralds on Graveyard. So they were looking. So it
used to be the D.
Used to be, yeah. Oh no, it's now the D. Used to be the Fitzgerald.
Now it's the D. Yeah, hit that smash button.
There you go.
Yeah,
Oh,
it used
God.
to be the D.
Yeah, so I go to work at the Fitzgerald's on Graveyard, and there's a guy that I know there. It's a friend of mine who kind of got me juiced in. They were doing Graveyard was shift for shift there. So in terms of tokes. So every shift got to keep whatever money they made. And Graveyard only had 14 dealers, 12 to 14 dealers. So it was a nice gig, you know what I mean, for the 90s. So I'm working there on Graveyard, and there's a one of the dealers, you know, he says to me, he's like, well, why don't you go out to open one of these casinos in Louisiana? I mean, it's literally 1995. And he introduces me to this security director who got a job as security director out there. So I go out there and I work the floor at the Players in Lake Charles. And then the Bella Baton Rouge opens up, and that's sort of how I transitioned. So I went from being a dealer to being a supervisor, which, by the way, I enjoyed being a supervisor up to a point, but I really enjoyed dealing dice. Like, that was the thing, dude. I mean, for me, it felt like just playing Monopoly or Risk all day. You know what I'm saying? And going on break. We'll go over the Louisiana. This is kind of like, are we doing just Origin or like the whole lifespan? Because we're way past Origin, buddy.
David Knoll life story.
I know, this is my casino dealing life story. All right. Should I end it there? I mean, we should transition to something, keep going.
You want to do.
I got 13 casinos, dude. You know what I mean? I mean, this could go on for a long time. We might need some more batteries.
I think what you guys should do is convince David to start a podcast.
Yeah, like a whole
seriously.
podcast. No, really?
Yeah.
Do a podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, that way nobody else has to sit there next to me. I could just like have some random thing like there. Okay, perfect.
Automation, Alex Robot.
Yeah, automation. Yeah, a good story, David. Congratulations.
Genius.
Genius.
Yeah, we'll have a soundboard.
A little soundboard.
Genius.
Yeah.
Genius.
Continue.
All right, continue. All right, so what happened was I was involved. So I had one of the families that were involved with opening Orleans, and then I went and I had a friend of mine that I was using his house, and then I went down to the Grand, and we won a whole buttload of money there. There were some mitigating factors, but I ended up back in Vegas. So I got back to Vegas, and the first job that I ended up getting back in Vegas at the time was at the Imperial Palace, which is
Oh yeah.
oh god.
If you guys didn't know, Imperial Palace is a secret Nazi room. It's known as the Link.
Yeah.
Also, too, if you looked at Imperial Palace, wasn't it shaped like a swastika?
It's literally shaped like, without the thing going through it, but it literally was shaped like a swastika, like
obviously,
Ingolstadt.
Obviously, if you look at Google Maps now, the Link doesn't look like that.
The guy's name is Ingolstadt. He was literally fined $1 million for having this like room dedicated to Hitler. By the way.
Yep.
This was a true story. This is an absolute fact.
Go on Google, Imperial Palace, secret Nazi room.
They asked him to get rid of the room, and he said that he did, and then ultimately he didn't. It was still there. They found it, and that's why they fined him so much money. By the way, he had a ton of money. He would sit there at his little safari bar, whatever the hell they call it, and he would just get drunk, just plastered. He loved big-breasted cocktail waitresses. He'd have them all come down, and he would be there, just literally fondling them. This was the day. That's the whole thing. This is
pre-Me Too movement.
This is way before the Me Too movement. I mean, he's long since dead, by the way. It's now the Link. He said that, I think.
Yeah.
So I ended up working the IP. So at some point after the IP, I go to work for the Casino Boardwalk, and I'm not sure where I squeezed that one in. But so basically, I met Norbert. I think his name was Norbert. I met him, and he's like, "Yeah, come on over to the Casino Boardwalk. Come work for me." And he gave me my first dual. He gave me like a dual rate job. I can't remember if this was before I went to Louisiana or after I went to. I don't remember. It's just foggy, buddy. So I worked at Casino Boardwalk, and I got to sit there and listen to all the stories between him and the Klondike owner.
Boardwalk Casino, just to let you guys know, it's like where Italy is now.
We're Monte Carlo,
like
Park
T-Mobile
MGM.
Arena, like in front right there in Las Vegas Boulevard. That used to be Boardwalk Casino. That's also too, if you find that Butterbean buffet commercial.
Oh, yeah, he used to come in there all the time. Yeah, he used to work in there all the time. Yep. Oh, for sure. It's weird because when I worked at the Gold Coast, they were just building the first tower at the Rio, and then they added the other towers. It became this big job, and I never thought in a million years I'd be able to get hired there. I go in there and I'm standing behind a line of dealers, like quite literally, they had lined up dealers to one at a time, behind the stanchion. But then there was this one table that was getting all this action, and it was literally on third base, which thank God, because I love third base. That's like my favorite base to deal. And I'm in this line, and everybody before me, at this point in time, I'm like, God, it must be 90. I'm like 27 years old, 26, 27 years old. Is that it? I don't know. It's all fuzzy, buddy. And all these older people, basically, and you could tell they're nervous as hell. Like, I'm even sitting there in line, I'm talking to this dude, and he's like, oh yeah, man, I've done this action before, I'm gonna be so good, I'm gonna knock it out. And you could see him you could just see him shake, dude. I mean, literally from behind him, I could see him shake. And I'm behind him, like outside the pit from the other side, there's a podium, and I could see him shaking. And I'm like, oh crap, because I hadn't actually, this had been, the Rio was like, I'm in 8 jobs later, you know what I mean? Like, how many jobs is this for me? Oh my God. But anyway, so I figured like I was past that because, you know, I was such a good deal. And sure enough, man, I just knocked it out of the park, dude. Out of all the people that applied, I was the one guy that gave that job. And you know that back in the day, so nowadays you go through this whole process, right? You interview, you go through the thing, they call you, they email you. But back then, here's your apron. You know, here, go to that room, work out your paperwork, and get out. You know what I mean? Here's your shift, whatever. I've actually had a casino. I've actually had one job. I actually worked at the IP 2 times. And one time, I believe, I literally was given an apron, and you know, once I got past that second interview, and I started working. You know what I mean? Where else did I work? Oh my God, a lot of places. I also worked Texas Station.
That's how we met.
That's how we met, buddy. That's that story. But anyways, is that enough of an origin? That's probably it, dude. We probably should end it here, right? I mean, because otherwise we could just go on forever. Hey, so here, it's just a really quick story.
Okay,
right?
sure.
So I'm working at the boardwalk. And I forget where Fat Elvis was playing, but
just laughing.
I know I would see Fat Elvis, right? I don't know how I actually met Fat Elvis, but then we became friends. Maybe he was an entertainer at Boardwalk, I believe. And we would go across the street. And do you know that the Fat Burger has like this triple king? Not a double king.
Oh, like a triple burger.
Like it's not even on the menu. Like I don't even know if it was like, dude, it was this massive thing, and he would just, oh my God, he would take that out like it was nothing. Like I mean, when you say Fat Elvis, he was a big Elvis. By the way, he's one of these guys. He had this old like Cadillac car or Seville, Cadillac Seville. There were no front seats. The front seats were moved to kind of the middle back seats kind of thing.
I've seen that
to
before
make room for him. Yeah,
I've actually seen a guy sit in the back seat. He was so tall and so fat.
Oh my God, but he was so hilarious, man. He would make fun of it constantly. I mean, he was always making fun of like, you know, just his largesse, and this is what Elvis would have been if he had another 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Because you remember how big Elvis got? Yeah. And he's like, yeah, this is what Elvis aspired to be. You know what I mean? Anyways, all right, we better end this because this is getting a little out of hand. Oh my God. And now I'm almost thinking the egg timer might be a good idea. Holy crap. Well, there we go. I got to talk. Any more of your origin story, buddy? You got anything? No. He was born, win. Just out of the cradle, onto the wind.
I was in Charlie Kim's balls and just shot out of a rocket.
Yeah, right to the wind. Do not stop. Do not pass go. Oh my God. That's the difference between like those of us that have to work and those of us that, well, we all have to work, but those of us that get, I mean, right? Dude, some of us did not have that kind of luck. I knew nobody. That was the thing. I knew nobody. All I had were bills, a gambling addiction, and you know what I mean? I mean, it's rough, you know. But anyways, all right. Well, there you go. That's a quick origin story for David. One of these days we'll get to the real origin story. We'll go back.
All right.
All right. Goodbye.
See you guys.
Take care.
Next time.
All right. Next time. Bye.
Bye.